All right, welcome to This Explainer. Today, we are diving headfirst into one of the most maddening mysteries in the off-grid energy world. If you've ever built a lead-acid battery system, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Your setup looks absolutely flawless on paper, the sun is shining, the panels are working, but out in the real world, the system just fails prematurely. So why does a battery that looks perfectly healthy just up and quit? Well, today we're going to break down the exact physics of why off-grid lead-acid batteries fail, and we'll expose the invisible forces that are literally destroying your system from the inside out.
So picture this scenario. Your solar panels have been soaking up the sun all day long. You check your charge controller, and it proudly says your battery is at 100%. Awesome, right? But then, night falls. You're running what seem like really small, continuous loads. We're talking maybe a CCTV camera system, a Wi-Fi router, maybe a little backup server. Nothing crazy. These are tiny appliances. And yet, by the early hours of the morning, your battery is completely flat. The whole system crashes. It is incredibly frustrating. So what is actually going wrong out there in the dark?
Well, to really get to the bottom of this, we kind of have to throw out the traditional rulebook. Seriously, this isn't your typical battery advice explainer. We're not just going to repeat those tired rules of thumb like deep discharge kills or never go below 50%. Those basic rules completely miss the actual dynamic electrical behavior that happens inside a battery when it's under constant stress. Instead, we're looking strictly at the failure physics. Section 1. The voltage illusion. You know, it's funny. Most folks treat a battery like it's just a big water tank. They think of amp hours like gallons in a bucket. You just pour the energy in and you drain it out. Simple, right? Except a lead-acid battery is not a static tank at all. It is a highly dynamic, living electrochemical system. It reacts continuously to whatever load you place on it. The moment you pull current, that battery is under physical stress and its internal behavior changes in real time. Let's compare the myths you usually hear with what's actually happening under the hood. The classic advice focuses entirely on depth of discharge and making sure you charge up every day. But the real safety gaps, the actual killers of your battery, are totally ignored. Operators are completely missing real-time voltage sag under load. They're confusing surface voltage with true capacity. And worst of all, they're entirely ignoring internal resistance growth, which gets worse over time. These fatal gaps in standard advice are exactly what leave your system so vulnerable. And this brings us to a really critical misunderstanding. Listen to this. Voltage does not equal state of charge when a battery is under load. Let me say that again. A lead-acid battery doesn't just deliver a flat, constant voltage. When current starts flowing, the voltage drops immediately. So measuring your voltage while that CCTV system is actively running, it's just giving you a false number. That voltage reading only approximates your true state of charge after the battery has rested for a long time and reached an equilibrium. To truly wrap our heads around this, we need to look at the dynamic form of Ohm's law. Now, don't let the math scare you. Basically, your terminal voltage under load equals your true open-circuit chemical potential minus your load current multiplied by your internal resistance. Notice that R_internal variable right there. Why is that a big deal? Because internal resistance creeps up as your battery ages and as sulfation builds up on the plates. As that internal resistance climbs, it actively pulls your terminal voltage down, even if your underlying chemical potential is totally fine. Oh, and we also have to factor in the Pukert effect. This is a principle that basically says your effective capacity literally shrinks as your discharge current goes up. So higher continuous loads naturally reduce the actual, usable amp-hour capacity of your whole system. When you combine this shrinking capacity with that rising internal resistance we just talked about, you can start to see why running a load 24/7 puts such massive compounded stress on your battery. Section 2. The failure chain. So what exactly goes down inside that battery box over a typical 24-hour cycle? Well, it's a 6-step chain reaction. Step 1, your continuous load keeps the battery partially discharged. Step 2, because it's always working, it never gets a true full absorption charge. Step 3, this chronic undercharging causes hard sulfation crystals to form. Step 4, those crystals drive the internal resistance up. Step 5, that higher resistance forces a much deeper voltage sag. And finally, step 6, that deep sag triggers your inverter to shut off entirely too early. Essentially, your battery is suffering from chronic fatigue because it literally never gets to rest. You can probably see where this is going. It creates a massive, dangerous feedback loop. More voltage sag leads to an earlier inverter cutoff. That early cutoff forces the system into a deeper perceived discharge, and that deeper discharge significantly accelerates the sulfation process. It's a vicious cycle that makes your entire system act like it's totally broken, even if the actual physical capacity rating of the battery hasn't fundamentally changed yet. Now, as the operator, there are a few hidden traps that will pour gas on this fire. Misreading your load voltage and thinking your battery's healthier than it is, that's a massive one. Running your inverter until it forcibly cuts off day after day puts terrible deep cycle stress on the plates. Add in chronic undercharging from a weak solar day, ignoring those tiny parasitic night drains, and running a lead-acid battery continuously with zero recovery time, you are practically guaranteeing an early death for that system. Section 3. Proper measurement methodology. All right, so how do we actually track this before it's too late? Well, you simply cannot rely on just glancing at a single isolated voltage reading. You absolutely must compare 3 vital states. First, your resting voltage, which you measure when absolutely no load is applied. Second, your steady load voltage, measured while that 24/7 equipment is actively running. And third, your recovery voltage, measured a little while after the load is taken off. Tracking these 3 distinct states gives you the true forensic picture of what's actually happening inside that chemical system. When you track those 3 numbers, you are hunting for one specific warning sign: the gap. If the gap between your resting voltage and your loaded voltage keeps widening over days or weeks, internal resistance is 100% your culprit. Your battery is losing its internal efficiency, not just its capacity. It is literally choking on its own internal resistance the second you put a load on it. Okay, I really want you to hear this next part because it is a huge paradigm shift. An inverter's low voltage cutoff is not protection for your battery's health. Let me repeat that. It is only protection for the inverter's electronics. Pushing your system until the inverter shuts off doesn't mean your battery was kept safe. It just means the inverter saved itself while your battery was actively taking internal damage. And look, we need to be real about the consequences here. Once severe voltage sag starts happening under a normal load, you've crossed a critical threshold. That internal sulfation damage has likely been silently building up for weeks, maybe even months. By the time it's obvious, the degradation cycle cannot be reversed just by leaving it on a standard charger. The physical lead plates inside the battery are permanently compromised. So what's the big takeaway? A continuous 24/7 load won't nuke your lead-acid battery instantly. It's a slow burn. It steadily strips away the battery's ability to recover. Understanding voltage sag and monitoring that internal resistance is literally the difference between tossing out a dead battery every 6 months and running a rock-solid multi-year off-grid system. Now, really quick reminder, electrical work is inherently dangerous. This explainer is strictly for educational purposes, so please always consult a qualified pro when you're working with power systems. So we've mapped out the physics behind a failure, and we know that tracking that voltage gap is absolutely crucial. But how exactly do you perform this forensic test yourself? Do you want to learn how to test a battery's internal resistance using nothing more than a standard multimeter and a basic load test method? If you're ready to take that next practical step to protect your off-grid setup, well, that is exactly where we need to go next. Keep learning, and I'll catch you next time.